here today, obviously, joined by the Deputy Prime Minister and Treasurer, Wayne Swan. Both I and the Deputy Prime Minister have come to Canberra to continue working during this period. Obviously, there is uncertainty over the election result, but there is no uncertainty over the fact that stable and effective government is continuing in this period of time. The Australian Electoral Commission is working its way through the votes, making sure that every vote is counted properly and every seat result is declared, as of course we would expect at this period of time. Government is continuing in line with the caretaker conventions, and obviously those conventions contain within them consultation with the opposition as necessary about decisions, and obviously the availability of briefings for the Leader of the Opposition if he requests them. What I would also say about this period is I think the results on the market show that the market understands that stable government is continuing in this period of time. I do want to say that even as voting continues, it is clear that the government has attracted the majority share of the two-party preferred vote. What that means is that the majority of Australians wanted a Labor government. Now, I note that the Leader of the Opposition in the context of the South Australian election said that it was the two-party preferred vote, the majority of what people wanted, that was the key indicator to be taken into account in circumstances such as these. What I would also say in this period is, of course, I and the Deputy Prime Minister will be meeting with and having negotiations and discussions with the independent members of Parliament and also with the Greens. I want to assure everyone that those negotiations will be conducted diligently, with integrity and properly and in good faith. I, of course, with the Treasurer and Deputy Prime Minister in those discussions, will be talking about our plans for a stable and long-term government that delivers what we promised at the election. Broadband, better health and education systems, sustainability of our water, our food, our population, our cities and our regions. We will be discussing all of these things. I would submit that the key questions that need to be worked through in these discussions are as follows. Which party is best able to form a stable and effective government in the national interest? Which party can best process the business of the people of Australia and get legislation passed? And I would say that it is the government that is best able to undertake those tasks. Now, I do want to sensibly manage the expectations of Australians as this process takes place. It will take a period of time, but people should be assured that stable and effective government is occurring in the meantime. And particularly in front of this crowd, I want to say it is not my intention that these negotiations are conducted via the media. They will be conducted around a table, as they should be. Of course, there is a keen national interest in making sure Australians understand the processes that are underway. So I and the Deputy Prime Minister will be publicly reporting to the Australian people during the days ahead. For the days ahead, we will be here providing stable and effective government, engaged in these negotiations and obviously periodically reporting on the negotiations publicly. I'm happy to take
Prime Minister, I know you don't want to negotiate through the press, but will things like ministries and speakerships be amongst the things that will be talked about?
I'm not going to play any rule-in, rule-out games.
Prime Minister, sorry, Matt, just a second bit. There's a bit of bloodletting going on in New South Wales with Morris Yammer and so forth. What does that do to your claim of stability? Is it hurting your case that you can offer stability?
Well, look, my priority at this time is providing stable and effective government and obviously negotiating for a stable and effective Labor government. That's my priority and it's the priority of the Labor team.
Prime Minister, you've just led the Labor Party to the brink of a disastrous defeat. Why should the independents, the Greens and the people of Australia imagine that you've got control of the party, that you retain your leadership?
Oh, well, can I say, firstly, number one, the majority of Australians through the two-party preferred vote have indicated that they want a Labor government. Secondly, of course, what I would say is we at the election campaign presented with a positive plan for the future of this nation. And what we will be talking about in the days ahead as we talk to the independents and the Greens is that positive plan for the future of the nation and what it means for communities around the nation.
Could you talk about the
question? I believe the question in these negotiations is which party is best placed to provide stable government. That requires, of course, being able to deal with the Parliament, both in the House of Representatives and the Senate. It requires having a positive plan for the nation's future. It requires having properly costed policies. As Prime Minister and as leader of the Labor Party, I am in a position to obviously be talking to the independents and the Greens about each of these things.
Michelle, do you give an undertaking that when these negotiations are finished, you will be transparent about every undertaking that has been given? In other words, you won't have a secret deal out of it, you won't claim confidentiality.
No, I believe these negotiations and their end point, obviously the negotiations need to be conducted in good faith. It's not my intention to conduct them through the media, but I do believe there has to be transparency about the outcome.
Do you agree with Maurice Yemmer that Mark Arbib and Carl Bickar ran a hopeless campaign?
Look, there's obviously going to be speculation and talk about the respective campaigns. I note today that there's discussion about the campaign run by the coalition as well. My view is that the focus for me, the focus for the Deputy Prime Minister, the focus for the team I lead is on stable and effective government and obviously working through the discussions with the independents and the Greens.
Prime Minister, yesterday you said that you accepted that the people wanted a change in how politics is governed. One of your MPs who lost in the election has said today that the Labor government was too focused on getting a grab up on the nightly news as opposed to explaining policy. Is that something you would like to change if you are the Prime Minister again?
Well, I'm certainly someone who believes in explaining policy. For example, when we had the My School website go live in January this year, I had been explaining that policy to the Australian people and its import for the future of education for the best part of 2 years. That's my track record. I believe that that's appropriate. When I legislated the Fair Work Act, we explained the processes that we were going through to get the details of the Fair Work Act together, and that was done over a 12-month period. I believe that that's appropriate. So I do believe Australians are looking for more engagement, some different processes from politics. I think that's the message